and welcome. This is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television Ibadan. And of course, this morning we start with the big story. I'm Oluwayemi Adelako. Public money is like holy water. Everyone wants some, but no one should waste it. When citizens pay taxes and entrust public resources to government, transparency is no longer a favor, it is an obligation. And welcome you once again to the big story. Today we examine a question that goes to the art of governance and democracy. Public trust and public funds. How transparent should government spending be? The debate follows conflicting interpretations of the IMF's observations on Nigeria's fiscal reporting, while the federal government has firmly denied claims that over 8 trillion naira was spent outside the approved budget, insisting all expenditures were legally authorized and within constitutional provisions. Opposition figures, including Peter Obi and Atiku Abubakar, have called for a thorough investigation, arguing that every naira of public funds must be fully accounted for. Is this a case of misunderstanding technical fiscal reporting, or does it expose deeper concerns about transparency and accountability in public finance? And joining me to unpack these issues is Honorable Mbolaja Olaoye, APC stalwart. Good morning and welcome.
Oh, thank you for having me. Good morning to you, Yemi. And people at home, good morning to you for watching and listening to us as well.
Exactly. So let's start with this question. The federal government says there was no 8.83 trillion naira spent outside the budget, while the IMF report has generated a different public perception. Where do you think the misunderstanding came from? Because according to IMF, about 2% of our entire GDP, that's 8.83 trillion naira, was spent outside of the budget. What do you make of this, this development?
The Minister of Finance, Taiwo Oyedele said, he has responded to them that is a misconception and is a kind of probably a misrepresentation of fact that how people translate what IMF said. But come to look at it, he admitted that there are a lot of rollover when we are talking about the budget that has been spent. Because I learned some time ago that they are still implementing about 3 years back budget backlog that they still have to spend because they have not completed a lot of projects that need to be done. But by and large, we need these kind of things because when you are talking about IMF to be the watchdog of this administration, if they are doing good, they are going to talk about it. When they are doing bad, they are going to talk it as well. And they are going to say it as well. But let's be factual. Taiwo Oyedele, when he was when he was responding to it, he really asked probably if IMF can identify where the budget probably how they can be able to capture that 8 trillion that was spent outside the budget. Mind you, the World Bank, the IMF have not said probably it's been embezzled. And let's be sincere with ourselves. We have seen in the time past when the former CBN governor Sanusi Lamido was saying about probably 20 billion probably dollars of money were missing in the cover of the government. And when you are talking about this naira, you are talking about 5.8 trillion dollars, which need to be accounted for. Assuming is missed as it was said. So hopefully, for what the IMF is doing, I really buy into it. I think it is the work of opposition as well. Instead of them just saying it as a lip service or probably they want to get the attention of the people, they must dig further because there is nothing that cannot be dig out because 2 plus 2 cannot be 10. 2 plus 2 cannot be 20. 2 plus 2 cannot be 2. So the anything that needs to be done should be accounted for. Any money that is being spent.
But the opposition cannot do so much except by coming out to talk about it. And then I think Atiku and Peter Obi called on EFCC and ICPC to say you need to investigate this thoroughly. But then the fear of some Nigerians is this. How sure are they that these two bodies that have been called out to come and investigate this matter will do the investigation properly and ensure that they make things clearer to the people?
I don't think they are going to be able to do much. I don't think they are not going to be able to do much. And I'm saying this to you: there is no secret under the sun. If anybody do something that is where the money is being spent, need to be found as well. And there are a lot of whistleblowers who are ready to give the opposition some security they need at any point in time, because that is what a lot of civil servant does. And there was a time somebody was telling me that the secretary to the state government, what's it called, he has a kind of circular that was being sent to all the ministry that if they leak any secret of the government, they are going to be penalized. But we are here in Nigeria where there was problem with Better Edu, and secret was exposed, and it was asked. So let's be sincere with ourselves. If they can be able to consult the IMF as well, to be able to tell them how they think the fund is being wasted, it can come out. And when it comes out, it's now left for the presidency to know who's to be hammered if that kind of thing happens. But with what is now happening, we can see a lot of that transparency, because the president has given executive order for the NNPC to be remitting any kobo, any naira that is being given, as probably they acquired through petrol. And about probably 2025, Atlanta NNPC remitted probably about 708 something billion. But now, as of last month, it was 4 point something trillion naira that was remitted to the federal account. So if any money is going to be pointed to be missing, it's going to come from NNPC. And if NNPC is going to be able to do its own obligation, or what is required by the government to do.
Honorable, if this money is coming in, and then we thank God for that, the concern of Nigerians now is, how are we spending this money? Accountability. So in your opinion now, do you think the presidency, or let me say the government now, is handling fiscal reports properly, the way they should? Reporting, how money has been spent and things like that.
Let me be sincere with ourselves, Yemi. It is the work of opposition to do a lot of digging, whether we like it or not.
The opposition will not be the one to give verdicts in court.
Everybody always looking for loopholes. Everybody looking for weakness of others as well. We can be able to talk about federal government all the time, because people like a watchdog like IMF can say things about federal government. We don't talk about state. We are having about 36 states in Nigeria.
But this 8.83 trillion naira is about the federal government, not about the state.
Like I say, that is what I'm saying. When you are talking about the federal government, if the federal government can be able to get away with it, if opposition cannot do a lot of digging, because like I said to you, 2 plus 2 cannot be 2, 2 plus 2 cannot be 10. We need, apart from IMF, we need other agencies to do a lot of digging as well. Because I have just said to you, EFCC and ICPC, what are they going to do? They cannot walk outside the perimeter of the federal government. And we have seen that even a lot of states try as much as possible to challenge EFCC, that they must be expunged from the system.
Okay, what if IMF did not report this money now? Okay, do you think Nigerians would get to know about it?
We are not sure if the money is missing. Like what the finance minister said. He said a lot of budget has never been implemented as well. A lot of contract being given are rollover. Assuming this is where there are some lapses, we don't know.
So if the money is not missing, where's the money?
It is not about missing.
Okay.
It was said it was spent outside the budget. It was spent. It is not about missing. If money is missing, that means the money is not being accounted for.
So why was the money spent out of the budget?
Which is, like I said to you, it is. If the government does it, it is wrong. It is criminal, and it is reckless. But like what Taiwo Oyedele was now saying is that the IMF supposed to give specific where the money was spent to. The money was meant to be spent. It was not like it was missing. Don't mix it together. It was being spent outside the budget. Probably is being given as a loan to some state, or is being given as a gift to some state. Who knows?
So does that mean Nigerians should not trust the Nigerian budget as we progress as a country?
Our budget has never been trusted from time, because it has never been fully implemented for so many years. we have been seeing a lot of budget not being well implemented.
So are you saying this administration is building on that?
I'm not saying it's building on that. I'm saying for the fact that there was challenge right now. We are seeing situation whereby $10 million were missing. We have seen a situation $20 million are missing. We have seen a situation that even there are some government that cover a lot of ministers that does wrong for in the time past. But this particular government, I've said that he is not going to be able to shield any minister that does any wrong. That anybody that does wrong must be able to account for himself. And this is now who is in charge of finance.
So should the federal government not serve as a very good example to say, okay, if the federal government is doing this, they are accountable to the people? Don't you think at that point the other levels will be able to follow suit?
I agree with you totally. This is what you are saying is right, and that is what I'm saying. IMF being the watchdog of this federal government is something we supposed to be delighted about. But now we are not going to stop here. We are still going to ask Taiwo Oyedele, Minister of Finance, a lot of questions, despite the fact that he has given some response to what IMF has done. But what I'm now saying, now we are so delighted, Nigerians are delighted that IMF can be doing this, and we expect a lot of agency outside the government to be doing this as well.
Is federal government communicating with the people enough?
Definitely there must be some mistakes. There can be mistakes sometimes. And when there is mistake, they're supposed to rectify the mistake. Like they are now saying, like I said to you, Taiwo Oyedele said, there are some budget that has never been, there are some rollover budget from the time past. Probably this is what they see, we don't know. Because the Nigerians are still asking questions. And we're still going to be asking finance minister that question. If any money is missing, the federal government must account for it. But according to his response, that there are some budget that has never been implemented. And they are still implementing some budget. Probably that is what IMF was talking about. We don't know. Probably because there are some intervention that are given to people. What we now add is about 2 days, 3, 4 days. So in the time, in the days to come, we are still, a lot of things is going to be revealed. Probably we are going to see some what's it called out there. Who is going to report it? Who is going to leave the secret to someone? Because a lot of ministry know how they spend money. And I am telling you, there is no way any finance minister can be able to cover for what a minister has not spent.
Okay, according to Peter Obi now, he said that the IMF's report has further evidence of what he called grand corruption under the current administration. And in a post on X, the Nigeria Democratic Congress presidential candidate argued that the reported 8.83 trillion naira expenditure was not captured in the national budget and was therefore outside legislative oversight. He noted that the amount represented more than 35% of the 2025 capital budget and exceeded the combined federal allocations to the education and health sectors. According to him, if properly deployed and accounted for, the funds could have significantly improved public education and healthcare. So, according to Peter Obi and then maybe his supporters, they are saying if at all there were changes at some point, why not report this to the people? How come a foreign body had to report it first before the presidency?
Yes. What Peter Obi is right in his capacity to say that. And this is not how the system works. And I am telling you sincerely, it is the work of the legislator to do a lot of oversight function. In order to call the Minister of Finance, ask him that question. In the days to come, if the legislators are not doing this, that means they are not doing their job properly. I remember there was a time Senator Nigi allegedly criminalized the legislative institution that they have packed a lot of money in the budget. Whereas he made a mistake by not asking questions. It is what some people just pointed to him that he has to whistleblow out. And at the end of the day, he was penalized because what he said was wrong. And what he said was seriously debated in Nigeria polity. We talk about it. We allege that the government is so corrupt that they have added a lot of money in the budget. And at the end of the day, the money was to be spent on this particular thing that was well spent in the budget. So that is why I don't want us to rush and jump into conclusion. Nigel was penalized. He was sanctioned because what he said was wrong. So that is why I'm saying this, that in the days to come, people like Bitobi, there are some people who belong to NDC and they must call for a question. The legislator must do their job. They must be able to question and ask finance minister.
Okay, speaking about the Senate now, according to Atiku Abubakar, he said the IMF's findings suggest that the federal government executed multi-trillion-naira projects outside the oversight of the National Assembly, the Auditor General, and Nigeria's procurement laws. Also, Atiku alleged that the Tinubu administration had maintained what he described as a shadow treasury despite imposing painful economic reforms on Nigerians. So, Nigerians are asking, what is the role of the Senate in issues like this? How come they were unable to trace this? How come they were able to stop things like this? And then how come there were no report at all that can maybe give clarity to the people?
If you know the meaning of oversight function, that is when you are going to know that every details of Nigerian spending, every ministry, everywhere, everything Nigeria has to do, it is the power of the legislator to able to tell executive what to spend and what ought not to spend. If they spend against whatever they are, the past, it is going to be criminalized. And any kind of person that does it, even president, even if it's the president, is going to be penalized at the end of the day. But now, when you are not saying this, Atiku Abubakar has the right to say it.
Okay.
And when he was there, we have seen what his boss said. So is he qualified enough to say this? He has been tainted for so many times. Like I said to you, what the IMF was doing is right. What they are doing, it is what Nigeria loves, to be a kind of whistleblower. Because they are like untouchable. They can be able to tell the truth and be genuine. But at the end of the day, they can make a mistake as well. That's why I say, by the time the legislator called them and called the Minister of Finance to be able to analyze and tell the Nigerians what really happened when you are talking about 8 trillion. It was being spent. They never said it was being embezzled. Embezzlement is different from being spent. What they spend it upon, let's see if it's not captured in the budget. The budget that was being passed by the National Assembly. So we cannot just say if the money is missing. It is not missing. How it was spent is what we want to know about. And if it's being spent outside the constituted budget that was being passed.
Is the government wrong for spending out of the budget?
They don't have the right to do that. It is criminal. And they must be able to penalize them. But what the IMF was now saying, like I said, is an allegation. Allegation that is meant to be proven. And thank God, the Minister of Finance came into the forefront and be able to confront it. He was asking the IMF that they must be able to pinpoint the particular money that was with the particular where the money is being spent. If they believe the money is being spent, where is it being spent? Because for us to have intervention in the our social intervention program, it is not well. For now, it is not really in what the federal government are not doing any social intervention program right now, apart from when you are talking about student loan and any other loan that are being given to students. So apart from that, they can be able to tell us before. We have seen the time of President Muhammadu Buhari why Ways and Means is being used to siphon money. But there is nothing like Ways and Means right now. Everything must be accounted for. And mind you, because of the transparency we have in the oil industry right now, whereby there is no oil subsidy that any government can just judge upon, that is where they spend the money. And we are talking about how the forex is now being stabilized, because it is not that the government has to be doing intervention. We are buying from the market. Everybody have right to go to the market and buy his dollar or pounds or anything he wanted to buy.
Okay, so talking about the budget, let's talk about this Adeni Gbajabiamila case. Are you aware of the case?
I've heard about it.
Okay, so allow me read some points to you. because Adeni Adeyemi presented himself as the Director General of what he called the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, that's PFIPC, and then sometimes linked with Presidential Economic Advisory Council. He claimed he had been officially appointed to that position, but then the presidency, through Chief of Staff Femi Gbajabiamila, and presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga denied that. And then the PFIPC exists as a legitimate government agency. They deny that it exists as a legitimate government agency. Adeyemi was never appointed to head such a body. And then this man responded, and then he said, after the investigation became public, Adeyemi made counter allegations. He claimed that Gbajabiamila demanded a share of the takeoff grant for the agency. About 400 million naira was paid through proxies, with another 200 million naira allegedly requested. And so now, another concern of so many Nigerians is the fact that for an agency that does not exist, how come it was captured in the budget? I'll read this to you. Adeyemi responded by asking, if the PFIPC does not exist, why does a body described as Presidential Economic Advisory Council, Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, reportedly appear in the 2026 Appropriation Act with an allocation of about 1.3 billion naira? For an agency that does not exist, how come we can find it in the 2026 budget, the council, with about 1.3 billion naira? What's going on?
The agency you talk about, Presidential Advisory Council. We have Presidential Advisory Council from time. It's made up of president, it's made up of ex-president, and ex-head of state with the head of state. And mind you, a lot of them will have been fly from their different places to Villa whenever there is going to be meeting all the time. So this Presidential Advisory Council is always there. Let's be sincere with yourself, whether you like it or not. But when you are talking about that, there is no a kind of a position that is appointing position that is not going to pass through Senate. Let's be sincere with yourself. Whether you are DG, it is embedded in Constitution, and there are terms of existence or stay for any appointed is always there. During the time of President Muhammadu Buhari, that is when we know that any Director General that was even been appointed will run out of his time. He can never be sacked, because that is what the law says. So the question we must ask is that, did Adeni go through the channels of legislator? Was he face the Senate for screening? This is not done. It is when you are talking about Gbajabiamila, it's just a chief of staff. It doesn't have any capacity to be able to appoint anybody, because he was being appointed by the president, and is only responsible for only the president, not any other person. But when you are talking about who is responsible for a lot of ministry, you are talking about the Secretary of State government.
But according to Adeni, is that the only person who can stand as evidence or who can testify in court on this matter died mysteriously recently? And that's why, he's in a fix in a way. But then I think he mentioned that he's going to present his evidence in court on this particular matter. And then the concern of Nigerians now is, how come the council appeared in the budget if the entity does not exist? So in your opinion now, do you think the entity exists?
You are talking about President Advisory Council. It is existed. It doesn't need to be a ministry or an agency. It existed. The Federal Executive Advisory Council, it is there.
What about the body?
It is not. It doesn't need to be body. By the time you are talking about if all the state government and the federal government they are doing their meetings, this and that, a lot of things has to be spelled out. But that is what I'm saying. The excuse that is just giving an excuse. Is known to be everywhere. We have seen the picture with President Obasanjo. We can see that he rolled everywhere with the powerful element in the society. People have said that he is close to late Ajimobi. He is a well-known person. If he's doing this, he might be using this. Where is the ministry? Where is the office domain? That's the question. And we must ask those ministry, what are they doing? Who allow them to be using that office? Because you cannot just say you are here in your studio and you are running a parastatal to the federal government. We knew that it cannot work unless you are in Abuja. And where are you domain in Abuja? Is it Guarimpa? Is it Federal Secretariat? Is it Lugbe? Is it anywhere? So now, for him to tell us, the person that can be able to testify in the court, that means seriously, if he alleged that it's Akume, the Secretary to State, the federal government that appointed him, we'll have agreed more better. But we knew that Femi Gbajamila is in the eye of storm. A lot of powerful elements want him to come down. They want to bring him down. But for this man to be talking about Femi Gbajamila, he's been talked about so many times. But even if he's responsible, he's been clever. Because he doesn't have the power to appoint. That is one thing. It's only the president that has the power to appoint. He has the power to create any office he so wish. And it's going to be done by the Secretary to Federal Government.
Okay, we'll definitely come back to this matter because I think investigation is still ongoing. Yes. But then we need to go because
and the case is still in court.
Exactly. So what lesson do you think the federal government should learn from this? You know, first about the 8.8 trillion naira spent outside the budget, and the second one about this entity exists, it does not exist, and things like that. I mean, there should be lessons that can be learned.
When you are talking about the money that has been generating a lot of controversy, I'm not sympathetic to the federal government. I'm going to say that it's congratulations to the Nigerians, whereby we have a kind of whistleblower can be able to tell if any government is doing anything wrong. Because what is in the mind of a lot of people that are in the government is to benefit themselves. And they don't care who else is got. And it has been done in the time past that a lot of money being siphoned. But if you have a kind of body like IMF or any other body who can be able to reveal their secret, it is good for Nigerians. And we are going to be asking questions. Because this question is not going to go on until the Minister of Finance can be able to give us explanatory reason for what IMF is doing. So if IMF is going to debunk, we are still ready to hear that. But when you are talking about Adini, it has been in the system for a very long time. Anybody can just cook up a story and I had a call yesterday and somebody want to defraud me, and because I'm not that greedy, I don't think I even have money to supply anything to a kind of particular body. So a lot of Nigerians are going to do that. They are going to try as much as possible to scam Nigeria, and this man must be able to be punished. No matter who is known, no matter who wants to shield him, he must be able to be punished. When head doesn't roll, that means there is not going to be any things like that is going to be happening.
All right, we believe that the law will take a course in due time. Transparency is the currency of trust, and accountability is the price of leadership. A big thanks to you, Honorable Molaje Olayo, for being a part of today's session.
Thank you very much.
And of course, we need to conclude this morning on this particular topic, whether this controversy is one of reporting issues, whether the federal government should communicate more with the people. I mean, these are the questions that we are asking this morning. But we need to go, and just like I mentioned, we'll come back to this topic before the end of the month. Because
let's do it. We want to, because without any scandal, the government cannot be able to stand on their toes. And without any scandal, no government can be able to be staying. So the opposition must use this as an opportunity to, if they dig deeper, they can be able to nail anybody that's so corrupt, and we can be able to explode this government. But for now, I don't think they have much level to do, but we are still wishing them the best of luck.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Molaje Olayo, APC stalwart, for being a part of Big Story this morning. We need to go. My name is Oluwayemi Adelako, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.